Argentina archival records relating to Nazi Ratlines. I thank President Milei for his commitment to this effort. President Milei has made publicly available substantial archival documents that were previously unreleased or classified. Senator Whitehouse.
Thanks very much, Chairman. I'm not sure if Mr. Barofsky, December 17, 2024 letter to us is already in the record. If it's not, let me ask that letter be put into the record by unanimous consent. Thank you. It has some very important information in it, and I want to make sure that it's part of the record of this proceeding. The document that I did put into the record earlier during my opening remarks is the July 31st letter from Credit Suisse's General Counsel, Jake Scrivens. And I just want to ask Mr. Barofsky, are you comfortable with that letter? Or, you know, lawyer to lawyer, are there little loopholes and weasel words and escape hatches and things like that in it that we should try to clear up?
For me, Senator, the operative document is our engagement letter, because that's what so clearly sets forth the obligations of the bank to cooperate. And that letter was entered into after that letter from Mr. Scrivens.
Yeah.
And so, you know, under the terms of that letter, just to be clear, it requires UBS to produce all relevant documents, but it also includes several protections, including protections against claims of waiver of privilege. And so you have to remember that the whole thing was set up so that UBS, or at the time Credit Suisse, wouldn't be vulnerable to claims of waiver. And that's why, if you look in our December 2024 letter that you just referenced, you know, we actually make reference there to one of these documents from Credit Suisse's U.S. counsel in the 1990s litigation to the bank, and that was disclosed with, you know, the consent of UBS. And so we had been receiving these types of documents really up until November, under the terms of this engagement letter, which is really broad in what it enables us to have access to, including privileged documents.
And just to be clear to our bank witnesses about the privilege assertions, you are the party for whom the privileges are being asserted. There's no third party involved. You're not defending somebody else's privilege. This is the bank's privilege, and under circumstances, if it was prudent for you, you are in a position to waive those privileges. There's no other third party that would have to be involved.
That's correct. We are, based on the engagement letter that Mr. Barofsky has mentioned, besides the fact that we have a different reading, there are specific provisions that specifically refer to the privilege, and that the bank can assert privilege. We are mainly concerned of third party claiming that the privilege has been waived if we provide the documentation to Mr. Barofsky.
Yeah. And, well, it seems to me that there's room here for an order from a court saying that because of these unusual circumstances, the documents can be shown to Mr. Barofsky, who's under contract to the bank and is to a certain degree its agent in this respect, and perhaps also to the Wiesenthal Center without the privilege being waived generally. I know that's the common rules, that waived for one is waived for all, but there may be a workaround here. Anyway, good luck to you, because it seems like an unnecessary quarrel that is tainting both Mr. Barofsky's ability to proceed and the reputation of the bank, which I think wants to be seen as cooperative and in good faith. So I'll just leave it at that. Back to you, Mr. Barofsky. In your testimony, you discussed new findings related to Credit Suisse's role supporting the Nazi Ratlines. Could you elaborate on what you found now that you've got 2.5 minutes?
Sure, I would be happy to. So a lot of the work that we do is, as I mentioned before, is we find scraps of paper in the Credit Suisse archive, And then it's our role to fill out the context. And what we do that is we're very blessed to have on our team, as funded by UBS, which we have the greatest appreciation for, is a remarkable group of historians who are the world's leading experts in having studied the Ratlines. And so what they've been able to do is we take the records that we've been able to find in the Credit Suisse archive. So that includes, for example, documents indicating that Credit Suisse was the landlord for something that was called the Argentine Immigration Office, which was the rat line that was run out of Bern, Switzerland. And also accounts that show that many of the key leaders, many of the key participants and several of the leaders of this rat line also had accounts at Credit Suisse during this relevant time. And so we take that and we match it up with some of those historical documents. So for example, evidence that the Argentine government sent over 1 million Swiss francs. So that's worth about 17 million Swiss francs in today's currency over to individuals who were running this rat line for the purpose of funding the illegal activity that was being ran there. And then we're able to tell from other archival documents how many of these key players in the rat line, what they were doing. And so there's information that shows that they had a bribery account, that they were bribing French officials, they were bribing Swiss officials. We have documents showing how these participants, these Argentines who were living in Bern, Switzerland, would work with individual Nazis, help them smuggle them across the border, intervene when they got arrested in order to spring them free so they could get to Argentina and to safety. Documents that show how this line wasn't just in Switzerland, but went all the way down to Italy, where they would get smuggled onto boats and shipped to Argentina. And the constant in this, again, is in order for this 1 million Swiss francs, which we think is an undercount of the total amount of money that the Argentine government sent over, and the ability to execute the rat line, there had to be a banking relationships. There had to be a place to put the money, to withdraw the money. And so we're filling in, and by we, I really mean my historians, are filling in a gap of something that has been studied extraordinarily over the course of the years. But this was always one of the missing questions, was how did it work from a financial side? And so as we continue with this investigation, we're helping to answer one of history's unanswered questions about this massive smuggling operation.
Godspeed.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman.
Senator Kennedy.